friends, welcome back to Scrapbook Your Legacy with Carrie. Thank you so much for joining me each week and watching my videos and commenting. I love hearing from you. I appreciate you watching, and I would love for you to subscribe and like my videos. But anyway, thank you for joining, and I hope that you'll find them all inspiring. Today we are working with the gingerbread collection. It's called Gingerbread Fun, and I'll have some tips for you. But first, I wanted to tell you about if you are familiar with the Border Maker system that they have, the Border Maker cartridges and that whole system. If you have them, there are some that I think would work really great with this collection. If you don't have any of the new ones, I have older ones. So the Cloud one, this is the Cloud Border Maker. I feel like this could be frosting, just saying. So I thought that would be a fun one. They also have this snowflake one, the snowflake chain, I think is what it is. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, this would work really well with this collection. I have a few to show you. So there's also this snowflake one. This would work great with this collection as well. Okay. And then a couple more. One of the papers has this diamond look to it, and I'm actually using it today, although I'm not using this Border Maker cartridge. But this would work well with this collection, as would the icicles. So you have those. If you have those in your stash, these would be great to work with. All right, I used the circle cutter, so I'll go over that again. And then I did use my corner rounder, and I'll show you where I use that. But this is that nice new one from Creative Memories that is double-sided. So you can indent or you can get that curved edge. One of the papers I'm using today is this one. This is my favorite paper in this collection, and the one that's on the back of it, the stripe. Love this. This could be used for birthdays, this side, the stripe. So I used the stripe going crossways, not lengthwise. I used it going this way. And so when I looked on the other side of the paper and I realized it was this one, I was like, oh no, I want to save it. So if you have this collection or are thinking about it, be aware of that. And if you really love this paper, what I did is I cut it in half. So that when I do finally use it, I can have some on the bottom and some on the top, and I can do cardstock down the middle. Okay, so hopefully you understand that. It's a way to use the stripe and still preserve what's on the front. So that is my little tip for that paper. If you love it, you have to think about how you're going to use the back of it. And then the other thing is, this is a busier collection as far as the papers. And so I just want to make sure, like, I kind of struggled with, well, wanting to use it, but also, how am I going to use this? So let me pull out the papers and the items I have for this, and then we'll be putting it together. I'm so sorry, I just slapped the camera. Okay, I think I have everything out that I'm going to need, and I'll walk you through what I'm doing. All right, sorry for bonking the camera there. Let me just make sure that we are still straight. I was having a hard time getting this camera mount to work today. All right, so I am going to be scrapbooking the National Gingerbread Competition from 2023. I can't believe it's been 2 years since we've gone up there. And interestingly enough, this was the winning gingerbread house. Look at that. That is all like edible material, seaweed, whatever. All right, and this is a close-up of the front of this Polynesian style, like tiki hut kind of thing. So that is my main focal photo. And then the bottom of this whole flip peekaboo pocket thing is this. So this is a side view of this, but look at the detail in that. That's all, I think, like edible ink that she decorated everything with. Well, anyway, there is a gingerbread thing on Magnolia Network right now, a show. It's a competition, and I like it. It only has had one episode so far, but the lady who did this house is on the show. And let me just say, there's like 5 groups on the show that are competing, and they are architects and artists, I'm going to say. They are artists. So it's just really interesting watching that. And then I have a travel tip for you. If you want to go to the Grove Park Inn to see the gingerbread competition, I'll show you some of these gingerbread creations close up. Look at that. He's got antlers coming out of a top hat, and I made it into a 3x3, so it cut off the top of his hat. But he's reading a story of the forest creatures or something. So, but look at the detail in him, his face. But anyway, if you want to go, the best thing is to make a reservation at the restaurant and go. Otherwise, you'll never get in. I feel like that's usually how it is. Look at the house in the tub with the duckies, the gingerbread duckies. So I was hoping that this would turn out a little clearer. And then here's a house on a turtle and being pulled by little elves. So it's so hard to know, like, what pictures am I going to do? Look at this little Cotswold house. There's actually a whole scene around this house. There's a garden with a greenhouse and everything all around this little cottage that's all gingerbread. Isn't that incredible? Of course, the Disney castle was there with Mickey, the wizard Mickey down at the bottom. It doesn't show up too well, but that is, they did a great job. And then look at this violin. Isn't that crazy? And then sheet music. That's all edible. Not that I'm going to try it, but isn't that incredible? And then the poinsettias. And then me and my husband enjoying our time out. And then here's the exterior of the Grove Park Inn. This is up in Asheville, North Carolina. It's not far from us. But yes, if you want to go see the National Gingerbread Competition and you're coming from out of town, either you need to stay in a hotel and then get a meal at Grove Park and have valet parking because they have a small parking lot. And it's very hard to get in. All right, so these are the papers that I have chosen to use today. I am using the brown and the red. This is that one that I told you the diamond border maker cartridge the diamond chain would work really well with if you wanted to use something like that. But I am following a sketch again, and this is one by Noreen Smith. So it's this bottom one right here. All right, so this is the sketch that we're doing. I wanted to do something with a circle that had some different cuts and that would utilize the paper and stretch me a little bit in using busy papers, but also make the layout cohesive. All right, so that being said, and then this is from Virtual Crop from October 2025. So if you go to the blog, you can, either the blog or the Virtual Crop Facebook page, you can download these. They are on the blog. Let me correct myself. They are on the blog. So you can go on there and click and print these. So I just went to see what was out there that's different, that would use different tools. Now, this one has 4x4 photos all butting up to each other. I very rarely do that. I don't like to do that. So I have changed this part of the sketch. But anyway, so that is the sketch. And I also create a peekaboo pocket, a 6x12, because I have a lot of photos that I want to put on here. So these are already all done, but they're just scenes around the Grove Park. So here we are at the restaurant, which overlooks the mountains, and then me and my son, one of my sons in front of one of the Christmas trees, another Christmas tree. So here's some more Christmas trees. And then I did my journal mat right here. And then what I did is I used the new twist blade for the 12-inch trimmer to create this little border cut here. Okay, so that's a new blade that they released this fall for the 12-inch trimmer. So I'm using that. So this is going to go on this side so that it can be flipped open to this side of the paper, and I figured it would work better on this side. So that's where that's going to go. All right, so let's get moving. So these thin strips, all right, so I have a 12 by 12 red paper because I was trying to cut circles last night with this trimmer and do something different inside, and it wasn't working. And there's a learning curve to that circle cutter, but it's a great tool and I do love it. So I ended up using one whole 12 by 12 sheet of this red paper, and then I cut a circle out of this gingerbread paper and just laid it over it. It's just an easy, quick way to do it. I'm not going to use the other side of this paper, this red paper, not necessarily. The other side of the red paper is all words. You can fussy cut them out, but it is a busier paper, and it's probably my least favorite of this collection, but I would fussy cut those out with what I have left and use them as titles or just as word embellishments. And I would back them with cardstock to give them a little extra, oomph. So that's what I have done. And here you can see the other side of the stripe. All right, so I cut the stripe to go like this. All right, so these pieces of paper here, these long strips are 12 inches by 3/4 inches. I do not have a measurement for this piece that goes at this end, but I will measure it here, and it is 2.5. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start getting these papers down. But comment below, have you gone to the Grove Park in Asheville to see the National Gingerbread Competition? It's going on right now, and it goes on into January. And let me just say, it is extremely popular and extremely crowded. Okay, so it seems like there is a direction to this paper. The hearts need to be going in the right direction. But yes, it is extremely popular, is extremely crowded. And I know from years past, if you do not have a reservation in one of the restaurants at the Grove Park Inn, parking can be full for a very long time. And so then it is very hard to get in to see the gingerbread. So that's why I would say plan ahead and make a day of it and get a meal at the Grove Park Inn. They have a great buffet, and then use the valet parking. And then it's easy peasy. You don't have to worry about that. And then, they'll always do first come, first serve for guests. But if you drive up, you might not get in. So that's the frustrating part. So it's just one of those things you have to plan ahead for. All right, so both of these striped papers are also 3/4 by 12, as is this. So all 4 of these strips are 3/4 by 12. So what I want to do is they're going to overlap this brown cardstock. Now, I separated these photos with mats that in the sketch are all butt up to each other because these are busy photos with the nature of the gingerbread. So I wanted to bring some separation. I also wanted to have places for your eye to rest because it is a busier collection. There's not a lot of, there's tone-on-tone papers. Like this is a tone-on-tone paper, but it's still a busy paper. So I feel like this is a good collection to utilize your cardstock on to fill in and bring some separation and calm a layout down. That would be my advice. But then, scrapbook how you want, because I think we need to love our pages when we're done and enjoy what we've created. So, much like gingerbread creations that are over the top, you could just throw all these papers together and have an over-the-top layout, and it would be beautiful because the papers are gorgeous. I really do like them, and they did a great job with the embellishments. All right, so we're gonna, this brown piece of paper, I should have given you the measurement because I was trying to do it. The photos in this strip are 4x4, so I wanted to have an 8-inch run of paper, 8 by 12. So this one is pretty close to 8 by 12. It's a little bit shy, but I'm okay with that. It's not perfect. But that's what I did to back these photos. And then rather than bring, I tried to find a color for the mats that was in a lot of the photos, and there is a lot of red in these photos, being that, it's kind of Christmassy. So I went with red as a predominant color to the brown, and then brought in the stripe to brighten it up. That's why the stripe is here, is just to tie it together, brighten it up, bring some more visual interest. But yes, and then brown and red, brown is orange, actually. It is in the orange family. So red and orange work well together because it's, an analogous color scheme. You have red, yellow, and orange all together there on the color wheel. And so it's just brown and red would be analogous. Now you could also do blue with, all right, this is where my perfectionism is coming in, like it has to line up perfectly. Blue and brown would be beautiful because they are opposites on the color wheel. And so they would intensify each other. But I want my photos to stand out but still have fun with this. Now here it also calls for a sticker. So here is this scalped edge. Now this is just showing that there is something of interest here that you're to add. And these are strips of paper. These can be cardstock. You can do this however you want. This could be a border maker cartridge. It could be a border punch. It could be a sticker, anything like that. I am using a sticker today. So I am doing these peppermint candies. All right, so it ties in the red, and then there's some brightness with the white, and it brings in some green. So it ties in nicely with that striped paper that I have. So we're going to put this on the other side. I have a second one. So we're going to put this over here and just butt it up to this red diamond paper. Let's hope I can just go right along it. There we go. All right. So there it is over the gingerbread. Okay. The red and white kind of, I wouldn't say it disappears, but it blends in nicely. It doesn't create more added busyness. I think it looks good. So we have all that framed out. Now, for the circle, it calls for a 10.5-inch circle. So I decided I was going to try to get fancy, which blew up in my face. So I ended up with, I believe, a 9.5-inch circle. No one's going to know except that I told you, but I don't know if you can see this. All right, so this white line is the cutting circle, all right, the cutting guide. And then all you do is you just loosen this and move it to where you need it to be. So I had 9.5, all right, so let me see, there's 4 tick marks in between each inch. So I'm always thinking it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So in between the 2 and the 4, or 2, 4, 6. So in between the 4 and the 6 would be 5. So that's how I did that. And I just bring this over, and there's a little magnifying glass that helps you to see. There you go. You can see it a little bit there. And then you just tighten it. Okay. This was supposed to be a 10.5, so you'd move it, but mine ended up being 9.5. But this is a great tool. I was trying to create last night a white rim to go around this to add some definition. In the end, I'm kind of glad it didn't work, and I went through a number of pieces of paper, and then I'm like, Carrie, this is stupid. You're going through way too much paper to try to create something. Just leave it alone. It's going to be covered up by photos. Just let it be, and just go with it. Keep it simple. But I will... Nicole So, who has Nicole's Scrapbooks, has a wonderful video on how to line this up using a Post-it note. And I will show that one day when I'm doing a circle. But she uses a 3-inch Post-it note, and it makes it super simple. And I was like, I should have watched that video before doing this. I love this tool, but if you pick it up, you have, you have to have something down there to remember where you had it. Otherwise, it's not going to cut the same again. That's the only thing. It's different from the custom cutting system 12-inch circle. But this is, I do still feel very strongly that this is an underutilized tool, and it's a fantastic tool because you can do so much with it. And it has a place for a pen so that you can draw circles on your page. So anyway, so that's what I did here. I had this, this is the part that you put down, and then I had it, and then you just hold this down and then you go around, and it makes cutting a circle very easy. Okay. All right, so let's get our photos going and get this down. But yeah, let me know, have you gone to gingerbread things? Do you like to go to gingerbread competitions to see them, or do you make gingerbread? Like our family, now I missed it last year, and then the year before that we didn't do it, but we usually have our own little gingerbread competition, and the men judge us. I think it's skewed, I'll be honest. When it's hosted at my sister's house, I think it's skewed, but that's just my thought. It may not be the case, probably isn't, but I feel like maybe it is. All right, so these overlay, they kind of have it done here like a little bit of a collage. And so I want to do this. So this is 3/4 of an inch, and then there's probably an inch here. So this photo is probably 1.5 inches to 2 inches in. So that's what I'm going to do. They don't put that specific of a measurement on the directions. They just tell you the size, the size of the photo that you need. So there's a little bit of space here. It could be 1 inch. So we'll go over to the 10-inch mark, and it only overlaps a little bit. And then these diamonds make it easy to make sure that your photo is straight. So we're just going to put that down. Now I do have a peekaboo pocket that will go on once I use top loading pages. So this will go on top of that. All right, so that's how it will be afterwards. All right, and then this one, which I wanted to have a picture of the Grove Park on the outside. But yeah, let me know. Do you all have gingerbread competitions? Do you like to make gingerbread? I do not, but I'll buy one that's made for the competition. All right, so this overlaps the mat a little bit, so it comes down here. Because my circle is smaller than their 10.5 inch, it's smaller by 1 inch, my photos are going to overlap the circle edge a little bit more. But I actually want to bring this up onto the photo, and we'll just have it, it's overlapping by about 1 inch. We'll just have it do that. All right, so there we go. And then we'll get this one down of me and my husband. Very rarely do I ever get in a photo. I have to do selfies if I want to be included in the family history. I think it's just because I'm the one who's usually taking the photos, and everybody's like, why do you have to take a photo? Just enjoy the day. But anyway, all right, so there are those. And then I'm going to work on this side for these photos. All right, so I'm going to have him kind of looking in, and then I want the turtle looking in, but I want to separate all the brown. And like I said, I went with a brown mat on these photos because they were predominantly brown, like the rocks. And because they were on a red photo, I didn't want to do a red mat on these, but the red brings out, like my husband's shirt, brings out the color and the detail of this gingerbread house, and it brings out the roof of the Grove Park. So that's why I decided to do that. And I didn't want to do a white mat because I really just did not want to have more going on. I feel like this keeps everything a little quieter and calmer so that our eyes aren't just going crazy with everything. All right, so these photos are going to be on a grid. And like I said, I wanted to, that's right, I wanted that one at the top. I want the blue ones kind of together. Some of the blue, maybe I want to separate some of that blue because there's blue there. Yeah. How do we do this? And we'll just not go too crazy. All right, So we're going to get this lined up, and I want to space them a certain way, and I did not really put too much thought into how I wanted to space them. I might start at a 1/2 inch up here and then work down. There might be a bigger, like a 1 inch space at the bottom. So I'll bring those more up to the top. All right, we'll get these down. But you can see these pictures are a little busier. You have all this gingerbread going on. And so I wanted to have a little separation, use a different color mat to pull out some of the colors that are in it. And then also have a place for the eye to rest a little bit, because this collection is a little busier. It's a beautiful collection, but it is a little busier. Hi, baby. My little puppy dog is here with me. I gave her a bone so that she'll behave herself while I'm doing this, because she just needs to behave herself. All right, I'm just going to kind of eye this, although maybe I should bring in this at a 1/2 inch. This might help make sure it's lined up. But anyway, I hope you all are ready for Thanksgiving, excited about Thanksgiving. Do you travel? Or are you, now I want this at a 1/2 inch, so this ruler actually needs to go up here. So I'm at a 1/2 inch. Do you travel, or does everybody come to you and you're the cook? My sister, I was doing Thanksgiving for a few years, and then my sister was doing Thanksgiving for years when we moved down here, and then she decided, this is not straight. I'm probably gonna, okay, there we go. All right, so I want that at like a 1/2 inch. She was doing it and then decided to take a break, which I don't blame her. So for a few years, I was doing Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. So she's decided to take it back, and I am grateful. It'll be nice to have a little bit of a break this year. But yeah, let me know. Well, and also my family does Thanksgiving 2.0 because my guys really love leftovers. So the day after, when we go to get our Christmas tree, so we'll be going to get our tree on Friday, I have a turkey breast, and then I do up another small meal once I have these two down. Okay, and then that makes everything easier. I don't know if they're perfectly straight, or it could be that the mats aren't perfectly straight, but we're just gonna go along and try to do this. Yeah, let me know. Like I said, I do another Thanksgiving on Friday with just my boys and my husband and I after we've gotten the tree, and then they've got leftovers, and they, you know, my son who lives in Atlanta, he can take it back with him if he wants to. And have some meals. Oh, yeah, funny story. So my one of my sons is in the movie and commercial, you know, music video industry. He does all that. And so he was shooting a video at a medical place. I probably have to be careful and not give out stuff. So and he got into this bed at the medical place and put the oxygen things in his nose, and then was having them, the crew, take a photo of him. And I think either someone on the team or one of the doctors came in and is like, are you taking a photo of yourself like that? And then are you sending that to your family? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, man, you are cruel. And so he sent this picture to us of him in this hospital bed, and, you know, with the oxygen things in his nose, and, you know, giving a thumbs up. And he's like, don't worry, I'm okay. Which I'm like, thinking to myself, don't worry, I'm okay. Like, don't bother driving down here, or, you know, maybe I should be on the road. And so I called him, and he was laughing. And I just was like, so, are you okay? And he's like, yes. He goes, I was just, you know, doing a joke. I'm like, all right, you know, this is a 25-year-old for you. And so I said, okay, fine. I said, I can laugh now. I just wanted to make sure that you were fine. And So all was good. All right, so here I have the grid. All right, and you can see how I did that with the red mats. And then again, these are each 3/4 of an inch. And then we've got this one over here. So in the scrapbook, you know, they'll kind of butt up to each other. So you can see how this kind of creates a frame in the middle. And then my 6x12 peekaboo pocket is going to go right here. All right, and then I'll have this here. I probably could move it in more and have that there, but I think I might. I haven't decided yet. It's going to go on top, so, and then it will flip open like this. And I did put some embellishments in there. I used some stickers just to bring some interest. Did some stickers up here, create a little area. All right, so that's how that will be. That once this is in the page, then this will go on top. That's how I roll. All right, so now for the embellishments, which I need to find them. What did I do with them? I know they're over here. And I will see where I put them. They can't be that far away. Huh. All right, this is a little crazy. Okay, need to be a little more organized, apparently. Get going, and then I lose track of where I've put stuff. Maybe I've left that in the leave it in here? I didn't think I had. Maybe I did. I thought I had pulled them out. Oh, my goodness. All right. We are not going to spend all day looking for all that. I had perfect ones picked out, so where did I put them? That's kind of crazy. All right. Well, crazier things have happened, but I'm not going to waste time trying to find everything. And it should have been like right there, and they just kind of, little gingerbread men grew feet and walked away, is what they did. So that's crazy. I'll probably find them in the room somewhere. All right, well, I had things picked out. We're just going to pivot and go with something else for now. I'll bring the stickers out because that's where I have one of the titles from. All right, so here we go. Let me find the, all right, so here they have, you can see it right here. They have a set of, my brain has left me, embellishments here. Then there's a title and embellishment cluster here, and then there's embellishments over here. Okay, so that's how we're gonna follow this. So we'll start on the other side. And I had something like this because I wanted what I had to stand out. All right, so we have all these great embellishments. They are just beautiful. All right. And I had a smaller house for over here, so we'll go with that too. We can still go with the house. And I had a couple of gingerbread people, but we might have to do something a little different. But you can see it comes with a lot of gingerbread embellishments. It's beautiful. I don't want to do the hearts. I really wanted gingerbread people, so we could always do the 3 gingerbread people. I had 2, and then a sticker that was going to go over them, but this is cute too. And then I had a little embellishment tag behind them just to, you know, keep them off the page a little bit. So we will do that. Good news is I didn't cut the stickers apart. Oh, guess what? I found them. They fell. They slid. All right, so this is just a sign, Carrie, you need to clean your desk. I've got too many projects going. All right, you got to see the embellishments again, so we're just gonna move them off, and pardon me for belaboring that. But yes, back to what I was talking about earlier before I got distracted with this is, do you host Thanksgiving or do you go? And then, you know, do you host Christmas? Like who does what, and do you get to travel, and where do you go? Like what's your favorite Thanksgiving meal? Like, well, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish? I love mashed potatoes. And all right, so here's my title, and I'm going to put some things up on foam squares as well. Yeah, what's your favorite dish? I love green bean casserole. That's one of my favorites. I love cranberry sauce. Being from New England, I want my cranberry sauce is really what it amounts to. All right, so this is actually up a little higher, so we'll bring this up in here to break up the page a little bit. You can still see plenty of it. And we're just gonna, it kind of comes over in here, so we'll do that. I kind of wanted to connect it to the photos, so I might still just bring it in and connect it into the photos. All right, so we got those down. And then I want some foam squares, so use the foam squares that you have. I'm going to use a couple of big ones on these little gingerbread people. And then, do you have your Christmas tree up at Thanksgiving? I think I asked that last week too, because I feel like that's a controversial topic. But let me know, do you have, because I think a lot of people probably celebrate Christmas at Thanksgiving, depending on, you know, family and where they are. Pardon me for reaching across. All right, so we're going to put her right there, and we're going to put him over here. But yeah, you know, I think some people want to do that together and have their time. That's my guess, but I'll tell you, like, a lot of my neighborhood is ready for Christmas. And like I said last week, I have some of my stuff up too. Not all of it. Guys, aren't they cute? They are just the cutest, I think. Cute little gingerbread people. I appreciate the gingerbread world. I'm just not. All right, so there, oh, here it is. I almost didn't see it. There's this little sticker that says Gingerlicious that I was just gonna put right across them. And I might actually put a little tiny foam square in the middle. I think what I'm gonna do is, oh, maybe I should just put it on it. Gingerlicious. Okay, so we're gonna put it here. And the idea is it will go between the gingerbread people. Pardon my reach again. All right, so we're gonna put that there. There we go. And they are all, okay. Didn't want it to cover up his bow tie too much. All right, so Gingerlicious. So we have that done. I might add more to it. I'm not sure. Okay, and then we've got the house. And then I might actually do a little tree next to it. You can see the sticker set is just beautiful. So maybe we'll do the tree in red and have that in front of the house. All right, so let me put the house down. And look, at the wreath has a hole in it, and there's gumdrops on the sticker sheet that you can put over that. So I might do that. But let me get this down. Okay, so we got that. We're going to overlap that a little bit, and then I want to put the tree on foam squares and bring that to the front. So let's do that. And I want a bigger one and then a small one. Get my smaller ones. Here are my smaller ones. But yeah, comment below and then let me know, do you like the gingerbread collection? I did do a video showing it, so just let me know if you enjoyed it. I know this is a longer video because there was a little more detail with this and just kind of talking about some of the gingerbread. All right, so here are these little circles. So I think I might put, do they have a red one? They've got a brown one. They've got blue. They don't have a red one that I see. Well, maybe we'll do a brown one in the middle of that. We'll just put that right in there. Kind of just roll it, try to center it. Come on, try to center. All right, that's good enough. All right, so we got that, and then I feel like I need one more piece in here. And there are little snowflakes, a little heart. Maybe I'll do a heart. I used up all the hearts on that page where I see it right here. So we'll do a heart right here. Look, keep that whole thing because they're me and my husband. He puts up with so much with me. All right, and I thought it was kind of cool that these gingerbreads have the 4 circles because there's 4 circles here, but this isn't literal. It's like these are embellishments. You know, you could do something for the title here. But I like that I actually have 4 little gingerbread cookies. So we're going to put that down. And do that. All right, so this is kind of actually right over this. All right, so we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna put this on foam squares over it. A lot of foam squares today, but you know, it's good to just bring some dimension to the page. Not everybody likes foam squares because it does add thickness to the album, so you have to think about that a little bit. Like how thick do you want your album? But I do think it's nice to do them periodically just to bring some interest. You don't have to do a lot of them. But anyway, yeah. There we go. All right. So I'm hoping to do another layout with the gingerbread paper, Sprinkled with Joy. That's a cute little title. And then I think we need like one more sticker over there. And we got a couple more gingerbread people. We'll bring a gingerbread person over to the side of the page. Do a little gingerbread man because I always like that. Can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. So we'll put him right there. And he does show up pretty good in person. It's a little different probably on the camera. Maybe I'll bring a little gingerbread girl in and get her down under there. She's got her red dress. And let me move him. Oh, come on, come off of there. There we go. I'll bring him up here a little bit. Okay, so they're still connected to that. All right. So I have my journaling on here, and I'll be filling that in later. But this is, excuse me, the finished layout. So here's the peekaboo pocket, the 6x12. All right, so you can see where I cut this with the twist blade from the 12-inch trimmer. All right, and then here are the tone-on-tone gingerbread papers with the 12-inch sticker. And here's that embellishment. Now, I put the sticker on white paper and then cut the white paper so that it would stand out a little more as a title. And then here's this little one down here with the house. And then we've got the sticker on this side and then this little embellishment cluster here. All right, so let me know in the comments below if you like this, if you like seeing a circle layout. But anyway, I hope you're being inspired on how to use some of these collections. And thank you again for watching. And have a very wonderful Thanksgiving. Travel safely. And I hope you enjoy your time with friends and family. All right, bye-bye.